Shout out to those that are survivors, Trade Talk enjoyers, did not fall for the outside noise, people that did not fall for wrong information. Instead, people that knew that we were in a liquidity pinch, people that knew that the market was steadily heading downward. Well, it's not about, I mean, a lot of people can make it about being right and where you are, but it's not over. We have to keep going and getting the next move now. Given this move took 6 months to happen, we predicted it perfectly. We followed it accurately. So now we're going to get to this so we can figure out more. So as always, like and repost, share the stream. You know how we roll. We're going to play some Novex morning jam music here. And let's get the ball rolling, baby.
Written in these charts like a precision drill. No luck here, just timing and will. Seeing me gaps still bleed and chill.
Forest on mute, but the numbers kill. Novex finance, cold and still. Trade talk loud, no cap, no fill. Coming in clutch when the screen get ill. Mr. Clutch, keep me calm when I overfill. Mr. Clutch, keep me calm when I overfill. Left eye on the chart, right eye on pain. Hand steady like a sniper in rain. Force breath cold, hard and chains. Every wicked lesson, every loss a gain. I move like that through terrain. Cold my path, never complain. Coffee black, screen or stain. Alpha ain't luck, it's strange domain. Deeper and deeper, candle to tangle. Price and chaos is a you don't handle. Deeper and deeper, candle to candle. Price and chaos is a battle handle. Deeper and deeper, candle to candle. Price and chaos is a battle handle. Novex knows in the fog we march. Trade lines etched like bark on notch. Coming in clutch and a phrase is charged. Mr. Clutch pray while the ticks discharge. Reading these charts like a precision drill. No luck here, just timing and will. Seeing me gaps still bleeding chill. Force on mute, but the numbers kill. Deeper and deeper, candle to candle. Price and chaos is a battle handle. Deeper and deeper, candle to candle. Price and chaos is a battle handle. Reading these charts like a precision drill. No luck here, just timing and will. Seeing me gaps still bleed and chill. Force on mute, but the numbers kill. Novex finance, car is still. Reading these charts like a precision drill. No luck here, just timing and will. Seeing me gaps still bleed and chill. Force on mute, but the numbers kill. Reading these charts like a precision drill. No luck here, just timing and will. Seeing me gaps still bleed and chill. Force on mute, but the numbers kill. Deeper, heartbeat sync with the trend line. Blood on the chart, it's a deadline. I see fear in their eyes through the headline. They ain't quant, they just scroll timeline. I keep math like ammo, cold precise. Entry points measure, exit twice. Silence the noise, pay the price. One bad click, you sacrifice. Algorithm twitch in the moonlight gleam. Trade talk space ain't just a stream. It's a war room brief with the alpha team. Coming in clutch, we redefine dream. We redefine dream. Redefine dream. Redefine dream. Redefine dream. Redefine dream. Reading these charts like a precision drill. No luck here, just timing and will. Seeing me gaps still bleed and chill. Forced on mute, but the numbers kill. Novex wins for precision drill. No luck here, just timing and will. Seeing me gaps still bleed and chill. Forced on mute, but the numbers kill. Deeper, deeper. Drill to the chop leads order. Deeper, drill to the chop leads order. Deeper, drill to the chop leads order. Deeper and deeper, candle to candle. Discipline's the weapon. Patience the trigger. Trade talk forever.
Yeah. From the basement charts to the blockchain hearts. Listen. Started out broke with a broke exchange. Hidden fees in the code, everything felt strange. Every trade that I made, someone skimmed off top. Like a hand in the pot when the beat just drop. I needed proof, not a promise in the pop-up ad. Tired graphs with a mask on, looking all bad. So I link with the devs who can read that chain. Turn a loophole scam to a straight lace lane. Novex where the numbers talk back in real time. Every tick on a ledger in a clear line. You can trace every step like a shoe print. Whole history on display like a blueprint. No suit in the middle trying to take their share. Just code and the keys and the crowd in there. Grit in my voice, but the math stayed clean. Decentra with the dream, now we built this machine. Novex got the block on lock. From the first little lot to the whale side stock. Put the keys in your hand, now the man on top. If the ledger say it hit, then you know it don't stop. Novex where the real ones trade. Every tick, every fill, every move we make. Transparent when the big banks fade. It's that new ground floor that the old world paid. I seen charts get cooked like a Sunday meal. Fake volume on the books, that synthetic feel. Central desk with a smile and a hidden clause. Hit accept and regret when you read those laws. No vex different, peer power in the protocol. Every node, every vote, every local call. No hush back door where the rules get bent. Just 1,000 little minds and loud consent. You want yield, earn it with the risk you chose. Not a secret little lever that nobody knows. If the spread too wide, market make a slide. But the rules sit still while the bids collide. I keep my wallet in the palm of my own hand. 12 words tighter than a gold band. If I move, then the block, write the whole scene. Stamp it on chain like a tag on a clean jeans. Lock on lock from the first little lot to the whale side stock. Put the keys in your hand, not a man on top. If the ledger say it hit, then you know it don't stop. Novex where the real ones trade. Every tick, every fill, every move we made. Transparent when the big banks fade. It's that new ground floor that the whole world paid. You want trust? That's code you can read. You want speed? That's blocks at full speed. You want choice? Every pair, every seed. Whole globe in your screen, whole fate in your deed. Loan the block to the bots, we align that spread. From the charts to the hearts, put the lot up bed. If the math don't match what the suits just said, we let the hash speak loud for the crowd instead. I move smart, I don't chase green ghosts. I play stops where the fear live close. I stack game, little wins in a tight rope. Risk capped on the downside, light low. Novex taught me how to see that slip. How a tiny little cut make a whole ship tip. Now I scan every feed like a verse I wrote. If the bar don't add up, then the line get cut. We got charts on the phone, pools in the back, limit orders on the book where the depth stay fat. From the kid with a bill to the fun with a fleet. Same rules on the rail, same price on the sheet. It's that flip of the frame from the few to the crowd. From the closed velvet rope to the voices loud. I'm just one more mind in the net so wide. But the trade hit hard when the swarm decide. Novex got the block on lock. From the first little lot to the whale side stock. Put the keys in your hand, not a man on top. If the ledger say it hit, then you know it don't stop. Novex where the real, 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 where the real. Charts light up, glow brighter than the Vegas Strip. Seeing me gaps, got the streaks on a crypto trip. Candles dancing, wig slicker than the hustle's drip. Novex move silent, no need for a clip. Legend in the trade, fingerprints on the block. Blockchain buzzing every tick like a Glock. Defy dreams, I'm stacking on that E-Rock. Wallet full of alpha keys, turn never lock. Novex finance where the game gets flipped. Candle pattern sparking every chart we grip. Decentralized hustle, never sink, never slip. West side grind, making coins do flips. Bulls charge hard, bears lurking in the fog. Patterns in the smoke, I'm the wizard with the log. Fibonacci spirals, I'm the code in the cog. Crypto moves sharper than a diamond-studded dog. Green and red candles, paint Picasso on the screen. Liquidity pools deep, pockets never lean. Well swim silent, but I peep the scheme. Alpha moves nightly. Cashing out the dream. From the Satoshi code to the ether's flame. Novex rewrites rules in this money game. Charts speak the gospel, prophets proclaim. West side rider, blockchain my claim.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to, I don't know what we would call this, Independence Day? Would we call this Inauguration Day? No, I'm not being put into office, so we can't call it Inauguration Day. But what we can say is, damn, predicted this crap to the T. I wasn't convinced on the fear and greed, and you see me sharing the fear and greed stats here. How disgusting does it feel to be where we belong? This world has been just stealing money from innocent people. We have been forcing wars, forcing all kinds of battles. We are blowing billions of dollars on vaccinations that aren't needed. We're just getting people sick. We are robbing retail. We are continuing to do what just happens any other Tuesday, but it's Friday. Welcome to Trade Talk, baby. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, brought to you by Novex Finance, where you're not going to hear pleasantries, hellos, goodbyes. You're going to get exactly what you need to understand what is coming next in the market. And that's all we care about. No time for feelings, no time for friends. As you can see, most of our friends don't even show up anymore because most of them are down bad. They don't listen. They keep longing. They keep getting crucified. It is what it is. But let's tap in with those survivors that are savvy enough to say, it feels like a bomb is going to get dropped on us. Speaking of that, Andrew, bombs always getting dropped in St. Louis. Bombs also always getting dropped when you go to the upstairs restroom. But how are you doing, bro? How's your morning going? Were you marked safe from such a catastrophic destruction of portfolios?
I've been marked safe, baby. I've been coming to Trade Talk. I've been coming to Trade Talk for years now. It's crazy to think about how many these we've hosted, how many people we've helped, how many people we should have helped that just got emotional and didn't want to get with the program, right? Like I've been steadily telling people on the timeline, dust off the shorting button, dump or pump out. Short every pump. It's shorting season, baby. Like that's what we were saying for months, man. And people they keep buying every dip, not even to sell the pump. So it's just like, dude, what are some people in the space doing? I think you got to recognize when it's time to pivot, and not like pivot out of crypto, but just pivot to how you make money in crypto within different ways. And there's always multiple ways to make money, but I'm just not in the camp that buy and hold is the way to make money any time in the near future. I know we don't got many panelists today, and I had an interesting check-in question, but we'll still throw it around with me, Clutch, and Alex this morning a little bit. But guys, this is Trade Talk. If this is your first time here, welcome. We do this every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you're following me, Clutch, Trade Talk, Alex, wherever you're listening from, right? This goes out to multiple platforms: X, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, all kinds of places, man. So regardless of where you're tuning in from, make sure you sub and pay attention to these, because we don't only stream and talk about charts. We also stream some chess, some video games, and a bunch of poker too. So make sure you guys tap in with us. But these Trade Talk episodes, man, they're all about getting to the money. So let me give you guys the rundown of how these go down. We do a quick check-in question, usually something that's got a pulse in the market so we can stay ahead of it. Then we throw it over to Clutch. He's going to look at the charts. He's going to let us know what he's seeing. He's going to call a range for the weekend. He's going to call a direction for the weekend. And then we'll try to call a trade of the episode if we can. But let me tell you guys the check-in question for today. And then I'll tell you a little about Novex real quick. So my check-in question is kind of crypto related, but it's news related and something, type of stuff we don't normally talk about on here. Is kind of conspiracy theory, but I don't know if this is a conspiracy theory anymore. And it's the Epstein files, man. a lot of stuff in those files I think were considered conspiracy theories and until just a couple days ago or a couple weeks ago or whatever. But it's interesting to me that this massive pain in the market is happening with these files coming out and a lot of conspiracies being revealed and who's in there. So there's a lot going on with Epstein right now. There's things signaling he could be alive still. There's we got Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton that are testifying before Congress at the end of the month. And there's just a lot of people that are big time players that are wrapped up in this stuff. So how do you guys think this is impacting the market right now? If so, and do you guys think there's going to be any future impact from what's going on here? But while we marinate on that for a second, let me tell you guys about Novex Finance real quick, guys. Novex Finance is the people's exchange. It was built by traders for traders. Man, me, Clutch, our homie Ghost, too. He might wake up and get on here a little bit. He sleeps in at time. I'm not gonna say time. He sleeps in daily. But man, all of us have worked with all the major exchanges. And there was a lot of stuff we didn't like about those exchanges, and there's a ton of stuff that we liked about those exchanges. But at the end of the day, it's always been not your keys, not your cheese, right? And that's why we've always been bullish on a DEX, a decentralized exchange. And that's why we started Novex. But when we started Novex, we took everything we liked about the exchanges we had worked with throughout, our time in crypto, and brought that to Novex and threw out everything we didn't like. And that's why we got such an awesome exchange. But the thing that I think is the best thing about our exchange compared to any other exchange is, as a whole, our traders on the platform are profitable. And that's unheard of. You won't find any other exchange that the traders on it are profitable as a whole. And the reason being is this trade talk we do every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So make sure you guys are liking, subbing, following wherever you're at so you don't miss this. But most importantly, get in the Telegram, because that's where all the alpha goes down. Clutch is in there dropping trades. I'm in there dropping alpha. Ghost is in there. And that guy, he'll post every single trade he makes. Every time he takes some profit, he's gonna let you know. Every time he trims a stop loss, he's gonna let you know. And that's how we keep everybody profitable. We give you all the information you need, and we got some other really cool stuff coming. So yeah, Clutch has been building out something really cool about the release for Novex, to be honest. But make sure you're in the TG, because you're gonna want to be a part of this, and you're gonna want to be a part of the profits, man. So get in there, check it out. But let's get this episode rolling. Let's get this check-in question. Man, so for those that missed, I know we got Massimo on the panel now, but the Epstein files have came out, and it's a lot of conspiracy theories have been proven true, and there's a lot of big-time players wrapped up in all this stuff. And you're seeing some sell-offs across all markets. It's not just crypto. So how do you guys think the Epstein files have impacted the markets, and how do you think it's going to impact it in the future? Because we got the Clintons about to testify in Congress about it. There's proof that we can't say proof that it's Jeffrey Epstein's account, but there's an account, a Fortnite account, that uses the same name that Jeffrey Epstein used across other platforms, that is active playing in Israel as recent as 4 days ago. So like, if he's alive, what's the fallout from there in markets and all this stuff, because so many people have to be tied into this thing. But let's we'll start in the UK today, man. I'm curious, what are you guys thinking about the Epstein files over there, Alex? And how do you think it's been impacting the market, if at all? And how do you think it's going to impact in the future?
Yeah, it's definitely interesting that, Bitcoin could be a whole pedophile ring and stuff, man. But, I'm definitely sure that Satoshi didn't kill himself. So that's the one. That's the one, sure. But yeah, it's blew into the news and listened to all the spaces. It's proper tin hat time. So I'm go off and making my own tin hats. If you go to my bio, you can pick some up. I'm selling them for a couple of ETH. You want a special tin hat made by me?
I trust an Alex grade 10 hat. I feel like that's one that can make it through a nuclear apocalypse.
I mean, it's a bargain at that price. They're handmade with that origami kind of made in England kind of love.
Made in England kind of love. Good to hear from you this morning, homie. Keep us posted on the thoughts from the UK. We need to know what they're thinking. We haven't cared much since 1776, but when it comes to crypto, we're interested. But let's check in with the homie Massimo. Massimo, how you doing this morning, bro? And what do you think about these Epstein files, man? Do you think they're affecting the market, and do you think they're going to affect the market at all in the future?
Good morning, good midday, good evening for those out there. You know what? Honestly, um, it's impossible, obviously, not to follow and not to be, wrapped up and entwined in. I have a few comments on it. One, I wish people would stop commenting on it and when they don't know what they're talking about, right? Like, in other words, just because a name was in there, right? Like, well, you could have been plotting to kill someone, and that's the reason why the person's name was in there, right? Honestly, I don't think it has had much effect, if any, on the markets at all. However, I think it does have the potential ability to. Number one, first and foremost, I pray to God that no one associated with that is actually Satoshi, because I think that's the only thing that could ever kill Bitcoin is if they find out that Satoshi was, someone, for example, we were talking about this before, that's is not cool or is, a rapist. That would obviously not be good for the markets, and would not be good for Bitcoin. But outside of that, no, I don't think it really has had much of an impact. If anything, it's just been a distraction. Now, it's not to say that something won't come of it, especially if, as they continue kind of uncovering and unwinding things, they who knows what type of elements, or if there's any conversation in there, at all about, I don't know, trading or insider trading or anything like that, right? Like, so, there's a chance, but at the end of the day, I'll say this: Epstein is not alive. Zero freaking chance he's alive. He's too much of a liability alive. Did you read the emails and some of the and like the guy was? I mean, he would literally write an email, and then he would make sure that he would describe in detail everything in the email to document it properly. Like, he was literally grabbing everyone by the balls every opportunity he had for leverage. So he's a dead man, 100% dead, because he's too much of a liability to be kept alive.
I'm gonna take the counterpoint on you today, Massimo. I'm not convinced he's dead. There's so much weird stuff wrapped around his death. Like, first of all, there was a
I
4chan
don't
post,
disagree with you on that
and
at all.
yeah, there was a 4chan post about somebody saying they were in the jail and something didn't look right because Epstein got wheeled off, cuffed to a wheelchair, and then the next day when he supposedly died, there was like an undocumented van that stopped there for a little bit, and then a judge actually subpoenaed Apple and 4chan, and it turned out that like that person actually was a guard at the jail. And then you've got a Fortnite account with the same name as Epstein's other names on Xbox that played Fortnite 4 days ago in Israel, of all places. So I mean, like, dude, there's some crazy stuff. It's like I'm not convinced he's dead. I'm not saying he's alive, but I do feel it is having a market impact. The timing just is too coincidental to me, and I think there's a lot of fundamentals across the board, across multiple markets that are kind of saying that. I think that's why you had the insane push into gold and silver, and even Bitcoin get a smaller pump during that time, because I think the people in power know that when this stuff really gets out there and it starts to topple, everything's gonna come down. But like the thing that you can know are gonna make it are gold, silver, and probably Bitcoin at this point. And then to your point, that makes me think Satoshi isn't involved in any capacity.
Thank God.
And that the elites probably don't even know who Satoshi is. But so yeah, I think that I think we are gonna see some real pain across multiple markets once stuff truly comes out. and I think the public really calls for the heads of all these major billionaires and CEOs that are running everything. The futures of those companies become so skeptical that the value has to tank, and then you probably see other stuff collapse with it because not how particular nation's dollar. But that's just my opinion. I know it's kind of out there for fringe conspiracy theorists.
No, hey, I mean, look, if he is alive, then he's shackled somewhere, with his mouth gagged. Like, there's just too much liability. Like, and the guy had, I mean, you could clearly see how he was basically just keeping receipts of absolutely everything. Now, you know, not to say that, I'm gonna backtrack 1 second here, and I'll say the only other way I think that he would be alive is if during that process, right, he got deep enough into a few people's pockets, or excuse me, I should say, too much control with a few people that have some big deep pockets, that they're like, shit, we need to keep this guy alive because X amount of dollars a year I'll be getting from this. But no, I mean, he's a liability for every one of those schmucks. I wish he was alive so he could turn them all in, and then kill them all over again. But that's it. That's where I'm at.
No, man, I know it's a stretch, right, to say that he's alive in Israel. You're pretty much saying that the person who did the autopsy would have to be Jewish. You're pretty much saying the head of the DOJ would have to be Jewish. You're pretty much saying the head of the prison systems would have to be Jewish. You'd have to say the person in investigating Epstein would have to be Jewish. The person at the
They
funeral home
probably
would have
are
to
and
be
should be
Jewish,
though.
and they all are.
Bro, 70% of our government and freaking politicians are Jewish, bro. What is this with this dual citizenship nonsense? Anyways, it gets to a point where it's
I'm
not
not even trying to
conspiracy.
get racist.
Dude,
No,
I
go
think
look
all
at the
this truly
board.
ties to the market.
Dude,
for
go
sure.
look at the board of directors for all the big insurance companies, pharma companies. Go check them out. 25-50% Israeli.
It's crazy, bro.
I feel
That
like
is what
there's
you
some
would say the
major,
definition of conflict of interest.
yeah.
Collusion.
I think there's major fallout coming. I don't think we've even seen the real pain in traditional markets that's coming yet. I think a lot of crypto pain's already priced in because you can move crypto faster. But like when this pain that like we feel in crypto starts reaching traditional markets, like is like the rest of the world ain't equipped for this. I can tell you that much. But what do you think, Clutch Man?
Bruh. To me, look, Andrew, if you gave me an idea and then you died, and I knew that that idea could get me not necessarily out of trouble, but can help me do whatever I wanted, you don't think I'm going to use that information? This to me screams out, I'm not going to go down the crazy path of saying the dude's still alive. Let's just assume that this country is righteous and there's no chance that we would harbor the insane escape of one of the deadliest
You lost me
criminals.
there.
Okay, I lost myself there trying to have too much opium that this country is good. Look, man, what I do know is this: tension with Israel and Iran has been at an all-time high. Tension with Ukraine and Russia, Taiwan and China, tension with the WEF, and who's at the centerpiece of it all? The frickin' Israelites and their government. This isn't some racial thing, or this isn't some, hey, I don't like you, Jew. No, I hate Jews just as much as I hate every other human in this world. Every other human has the potential to be just as bad. Now, the one thing I will say, these people have been cornered into this special little place where all they can do is control the corruption's money. So to me, this just circles back to really what's going on, which is they got caught trying to take over the world's financial system. And I really do feel Trump is in on this, whether it's positive or negative, but it's really highlighting what is wrong with that system. The derivatives market is what's non-regulated, and it's what continues to cause this type of inflation and this type of destruction. The Bitcoin supply was meant to be finite, not infinite. But if you and me can keep going and over leveraging ourselves on every trade, is the Bitcoin supply really finite? It's not, right? So, in saying that, knowing what's coming, I think that information was used from Epstein and his homies. This dude was there in the beginning of Bitcoin's creation. How could he not be? He was invested in so many other prominent companies, which I'm not going to just sit here and give you a long list of it all. You can go look. These are massive, massive companies worth billions and billions of dollars. And Epstein was one of the earliest investors. He was one of the earliest investors in crypto. It makes sense why crypto is full of scumbags. You know how many scumbags there are in crypto? You know what nationalities they are? The dude that's always, they be accusing him of sleeping with his sister. I'm not even going to say names. I'll let you guys figure this out who I'm talking about. They're all Middle Eastern and frickin' from that middle world. That's where Epstein's from that middle world, from the middle of the most ancient world, which is that Middle East. And the corruption is just running supreme from there. It has been at the center of the gold war, of the oil war, of the methamphetamine war, and the poppy seeds and all that stuff, dude. This is, to me, bro, Andrew, I'm gonna say this and it's gonna be controversial. Epstein is innocent in this particular situation. Assuming he's dead, this is just their homies saying, well, screw that fool. He was the homie. He made me all this wealth. But that fool's dead. It's him or me. So I really do think this is like that commercial. The dude that's fishing and he has $1. And he's like, oh, you almost had $1, right? He keeps just moving it away from you. This is them removing the markets because they're onto them. The money keeps getting tracked. Andrew Tate's been talking about this. He said he knows who killed Charlie Kirk, and if he says something, they would kill him. Remember these things? All these conspiracies, bro. The conspiracy actors are now like 55,000 and zero. All these conspiracies have became true, Andrew. So all I'm saying is in this particular case, I feel Epstein is safe, innocent. But it was all part of the plan, bro. Use him as a scapegoat. Why would you not? Stupid if you didn't. Andrew, if I was friends with you for 40 years and we're involved in some crazy heavy corruption and you finally get assassinated, or I'm sorry, you finally decide to eliminate yourself, wouldn't it be a disservice not to use your services, dude? Your story to get me out of trouble? Wouldn't you want me to do that, Andrew, if you and I were partners in crime in destroying the world's politicians and lobbyism system?
Makes sense that you might as well let the dude that's dead be the fall guy.
Right. You got Maxwell speaking, the Clinton speaking, you got Trump. Everybody's involved on this, and there's just pointing fingers at everybody. So what it comes down to, the way I see it, is this is now the time that the market makers said, hey, we should probably lose $100 billion, maybe $500 billion, because most of that money goes back to Epstein. We need to find a new Ponzi to figure out how to finagle this and use crypto to hide it. They thought crypto was going to be easier to hide your money because of like mixers and things like that. But what they forgot is that you can't go to a mixer without eliminating history. That's how people get caught because there's always one transaction that is highlighted. And you know the only way to wash evidence, Andrew? You can't blame me for keeping $1 trillion if I lose them and give them right back to the market and wash them through other avenues, which is the derivatives market. That's my take on this, bro. It's freaking sus. Sus is freak. I know. I dropped a bomb, right? I do, dude. This is just an interesting one. I know it gets crazy, but dude, just look.
But it is a good
Screw it.
one.
Let them come after my neck. But who's all the ones at the center of it all? The Middle Easterns, bro. The Pakistanians, the Indians, the Jews. It's that middle world, bro. They just want to see the rest of the world burn. They want control because the middle world doesn't have it anymore. Western civilization took them over, and Western civilization learned their ways, and they're trying to go back to those corruption ways where you can really extract whatever you want from the world's governments by putting a little boy in their frickin' sleeping quarters. That's always been the case. Kings used to be killed because they would send young boys and girls, prostitutes, to kill them. Because so liking little boys and girls has always been around, Andrew. This is freaking crazy, the evil in this world. And you know where that comes from? People aren't going to like it, but which religions make it okay? Which religions promote your sexual identity to become your identity? They want you to change who you are. They want you to, like, dude, and even at a deeper level, there's a few of these fools that you could tell are Middle Easterns and they control Crypto X, and it's hilarious because they want you to cheat on your friends. They want you to be a freaking criminal, to be ready to then become the fall guy, which is the only way to really prove loyalty to your leaders. You have to take the fall for them. And I think most people just don't care, bro. Like, look how obvious these politicians are. That Omar chick, look at her net worth. That other chick, Presley, look at her net worth. Out of nowhere. Why? Because these are the same people that are willing to take the knife, stab themselves to prove worthy, meaning they'll be willing to stab anybody else. And in these policymakers, most of that crime, quote unquote, stabbing behavior is essentially them just breaking the laws by colluding, corrupting, and just leading these financial crimes just run rampart all across the world. And it's just devastating people. We have $500 trillion of debt and nowhere near the money to cover it. So the world's reset is coming. I've been on top of these things, and it's like, what else is there to talk about other than, ha, told you so, right? But yeah, bro, I'm sick and tired of us being called racist for calling out the truth. Okay? It's called realism. If one freaking crime keeps happening from certain people, it ain't racist for me to say, hey, those people keep committing this crime. And the Jews and the Israelites are at the centerpiece of every financial crime going on in this freaking world. Yeah, crazy stuff. Good thing I'm not a freaking super billionaire. Otherwise, guess what? They'll come and kill me because I know all this crap. But it doesn't even matter. Life is crazy, bro. And these fools, they only go after who can stop them. Who's going to stop them, Andrew? That's the real question. That should have been the show's topic. Who's going to stop this? How can Bitcoin, who was meant to be the one to stop it, be it now when Epstein was an early investor in Bitcoin, bro, to get it off the ground? I want to hear your take on that, Andrew. That's the one that's been kicking my ass.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily call him like he wasn't like a key investor. He gave some money to MIT and that money went to Bitcoin development. So like it wasn't like he had that influential of a role outside of being the money man. It's not like he was dealing with Satoshi. No, I do think it's entirely possible that he did influence some of the development, but I just think that's just a money person and influencing things, you know. But yeah, and then as far as the question of who's going to stop it, man, it really doesn't feel like there's many people gearing up to stop it. I think it's really going to just take public outrage, you know, like like you said, even there's a lot of stuff in the Epstein files that could implicate Trump,
Right.
you know, but maybe he's the one that falls on the sword and is like, well, I'll kill everybody else for forgiveness. Like that might be the only thing that
Right.
stops
Like
it.
the Dexter thing. Hey, I only kill the bad people. Worship me, right? So look, man, what's crazy to me is Trump went to become president on the hill of I'm gonna stop this corruption, the Jews, no more giving Israel power over us. They almost killed him. He came back a freaking what is it? A complicit rat, guinea pig slash whatever. He laid off of Israel. He laid off of freaking Epstein. He completely off from that freaking crime that was so obvious. So, hey, he did try to stop him. They damn near stopped him right back. And I think that's when he realized, man, the country was outraged that they tried killing me out in the open, yet nothing happened. They can kill me wherever they want, and I can't stop it. If you can't beat them, you do what, Andrew?
You join them.
I think he joined them for sure.
Well, here's the one thing though too. There's some accusations against him in the Epstein files. Now, just because they're accusations doesn't mean it's true, but you know we have to consider that it could be true. And I don't know, like he might have been involved the whole time. And it's like, well, you know, this might be his I'm gonna save myself moment.
Hey, and all power to him, dog. Like, world leaders have done some sick stuff to remain in power. And if we just look over the last 30, 40, 50 years, who's the worst ones? Saddam, where he was killing his soccer players. Remember what he did to like soccer players that didn't perform and Fidel Castro and stuff? Bro, like,
Yeah, I mean, love this soccer.
bro, that's lightweight freaking tyrant behavior if you go back 300 years plus. Seth Rogen, or I'm sorry, not Seth Rogen, Joe Rogan always talked about this. We've only been wiping our asses for 200 years. We have barely stopped taking over villages, raping women and children, and destroying everything for the last 50 years or so. Up until less than one generation ago, all this crazy crap was still happening. The world leaders don't do nothing real sadistic as like they used to in the Middle Ages and the Dark Ages, it just that historically, bro. You messed with a country, you were eviscerated, your people were eradicated. You would look different because they will mix their skin color with you, whether it was the dark ones coming to kill your ass or the light skinned ones coming to kill your ass or the yellow ones. Because across the history of time, there's been brown, yellow, black, white, freaking albino. Remember the Vikings? Crazy ass freaking terrorists. Okay? Super enforcers, super vicious. Humans are worse than animals when it comes to expanding their territory and taking over other boundaries. No one can deny that. But yet that's suppressed because of Western civilization. And when, with what you said, that, hey, Trump, maybe he's going to start doing this and that to try to like, be non-vilified, but be like glorified. I can tell you that if he were to just wipe out a bunch of people, world leaders, and then just revealed everything that they were doing, even though he would be a part of it, Trump would be celebrated as a freaking hero. Just how somehow, some way, a religion was spilled from Muhammad and his reign of terror. Because to a point where as long as you give me an out to have less terror in my new path, then I'll celebrate you, dear leader, for getting me out of this mud. So it's almost like people don't care about righteous people, just don't care about the evil happening to them. And bro, and this conversation can go deeper and deeper. But my goodness, bro, this is where my head went with this all. It was like, yo, bro, freaking Trump is like Genghis Khan. He's trying to take over Greenland, trying to do this, do that, and he knew he had to join the ranks of Epstein and his cronies. He knew he had to get involved with the pedophiles and the rapists and the Clintons who fricking have bought Haiti and have done all these crazy things. Like before I would talk about these things 10, 15 years ago, Andrew, Massimo, people would think I'm a crazy, stupid idiot. You sound like such a fricking moron. How could any of this be true? And instead, everything that we've been speaking about for fricking 2 decades has become a reality. So we're getting ready to go to a new world. And every time there is a new world order and a new power rises, it has the same story like this. The financial system goes first. The financial system looks like it's ready to go simply because now it's obvious who was all involved in the creation of all these Ponzi's. It was the same freaking criminals that we're trying to stop.
No, I'm with you. That's why I think we're about to have some major market wide fallout. But let's get to these charts, man.
Yeah, let's
People
do
have
it.
been waiting.
People think a 30% correction is max pain. This is going to be disgusting. But you know what's cool? Going to the charts here, obviously I'm screen sharing. So you guys can see coin market cap here. Look at the market cap barely holding on at 2 trillion. This is nasty. We almost went to sub 2 trillion yesterday, and Bitcoin just absolutely pumped from there. Alts have gotten us a relief rally. But here's the thing that does matter. Perfectly predicted the fear going lower than we had this cycle. I felt it. This was too high and I knew it. And we broke that new low. The FTX low was in the 10, 12 range as well. Basically, what this means is that the market can be predicted, right? I've been kind of proving that. There is so much nastiness in this market, and it just doesn't feel like it's done. Obviously, everybody's waiting, like, all right, well, Clutch, tell us what's going to happen next. Well, Fox, dude, it's kind of hard to predict perfection and then give you the very next play, very next day. For those of y'all that have been following historically after every major move that I've been predicting, because this is now 3.5 years nonstop predicting perfect tops and bottoms, it usually takes me 1 to 2 weeks to really figure out what's happening. Or what's going to happen next. I typically I almost missed trade talk today because I was like, dude, I really don't have much for y'all today. I mean, all this stuff was expected, predicted, but here's what does matter. And we're gonna get into it because there's some there is some stuff that I want to show you guys on the charts. So let's go to the charts. Okay, 1 second. Let me just add this page. All right, boom, we're at it. Okay. So here's what it comes down to, guys. For starters, we're going to go to Biddy on the weekly. And I told you guys, this is what you want to see, not that other one. And we didn't see this on the dump, right? We went above and we were finding support. If you look on the daily, look at it. We went to those zones, but we didn't go there. And I didn't like that whole time we did not wick to the 200. And what did I say? Guys, you don't want that because we're going to just blow past it. You want to see this type of wick before you enter longs. So you see that long was delayed by a couple days. So last trade talk was Wednesday. We were here and we were dumping and it was obvious. And I kept telling y'all, but I was like, dude, this doesn't feel like it's over. And sure enough, it wasn't. And part of that reason was we didn't go to an area where there's a ton of liquidity, and that's usually going to be the 200 EMAs. Another thing that we caught on the daily, look at the white rabbit, absolutely cooking to 72. Once it finally cooked and gave us a lower low with a higher high, no divergence, now we can sit and wait for that divergence and start looking for market reversal. Here we got a higher high with a lower low. Again, no divergence. Now the white rabbit is going down, but so is the price, so no divergence either. You don't want a steady trajectory here, which can signal a fake out cross of these bulls and bears. Remember, the bears line is the pink one and this blue one is the bulls. If the bulls go right up to crossing and doesn't, further rejects, you can see a nasty fake out and the final leg of this dump that will take you to a lower high, a lower low with a lower white rabbit. So the lower this white rabbit goes, the better, at least because it starts warning of the end of this dump finally coming to fruition. We've been on top of this for many, many moons, right? And every time there has been divergence towards the upside. I caught that triple divergence on the monthly, right? Remember this triple divergence on the monthly there? 1, 2, 3. It was a higher high with a lower white rabbit. Sorry, lower high. I don't know why I said that. Lower high with a lower white rabbit gave us this triple divergence. Easy. What'd I say? That's another one that I could go to the clips and be like, guys, I told you guys a 96% move. This was the top because of this triple divergence on the white rabbit. So understand this DMI matters, guys. You want to keep seeing this if you're a bear. This doesn't look like a healthy recovery. This looks like there was no more sellers. Now they just let all the liquidity orders that were there just kind of start taking this. I, however, like buying these wicks and I start jeeting my bags at levels where I probably should. Okay? We'll get to that later, but you want to look at upcoming bullish crosses here. 8 over a 50 on the 1 hour, cool. 30-minute, we rejected right at the 200. 15-minute, we're getting the triple crosses, so that's good, right? Bitcoin is finally giving us a recovery. Let's go to the CME now, because this is the one that really matters. We left major gaps, and all we're doing now is giving us basic little recoveries, right? So you see this open gap, boom, right there. So again, gaps are important. If you recall, right, and this isn't like a contest to prove me right. You can just go back and listen. But why did I say 60 to 70K Bitcoin was the bottom? I literally drew my trend. You guys saw me always draw these predictory line trends. Let me go to it. So what I do, right, besides my fibs that are crazy accurate, this is freaking nuts. And shout out to the guy that taught me how to do the fibs. He knows who he is. If he somehow ever listens to this, thank you. You did teach me a lot, but you're still a hoe. Anyways, that's funny, I know. People are probably like, whoa, that's some lore. Yeah, it is. Just because you bring value doesn't give you the right to be a hoe. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, guys, look how I'm able to predict these things way in advance. I literally just took a simple trend from the bottom of the market. Look at this. Boom, 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 boom. Perfect trend. It's not a gridded because we ain't cut through it. This is a realistic trend. So I knew when we were up here, all I got to do is move my cursor here. And then, oh, the bottom's 50K. With every single week that goes by, look how the bottom keeps going up. Look how the bottom keeps going up. So when we were in this little cluster, my trend was already towards these levels where I saw this trend being 52 at 52K, 50 to 55K in this month, right? Because you could just look January, February, and then boom, you get to March, right? I already showed you how to measure bars and all that, but you could just move your click one time. Look at that. One click each bar. Anyways, that's how I was able to know. I predicted 60 to 70 because of fibs, right? Look at where this fib's at. Right above, right below 60. And then looking at these fibs here, right? Understanding what's there. So we predicted this bounce. I should have longed with high leverage. I didn't. Instead, I bought a whole bunch of spot. And I bought Solana in between $70 and $80, just quite a bit of it. And if you look at why, it was similar to the reasons why. You see my trend that I have, from a lifetime trend. Here, let me zoom out so you can see it, right? And I grab it from the bottom. And I already know where that's going. So the same range of where I want to buy Solana. And then I see my two buy pockets. I've had these blue rectangles everywhere. I've had them just on because I knew I want to buy here. So I bought the bottom of this bar. And then it went lower. And I was like, fuck, dude, I guess I'll buy some more. But I bought 10% here at the bottom. Then I ate 30% of the bag that I wanted to buy more. So I really DCA'd hard. I'm in some really nice profits here, and I've already DCA'd out at right here. It was towards the top of my zone here because I expect some form of a rejection before continuation. This swing high has done nothing to change my outlook in the market. The weekly still tells me danger for Solana. You still see the 8 already went under. The 12's coming. With the 12 coming, dude, I could put the 13 and the 14 and the 15 and the 16 all the way up to the damn 21. And what's it doing is the 21 is almost pointing 6 o'clock. We've been talking about this, a few indicators on a few big old time frames. It is incredibly hard to make these freaking EMAs point to 6 o'clock. It's gross on a lot of levels, guys. But you see all the buy zones struck. Look at Bitcoin. Weekly went below the 200, right? But on the CME, we aped the bottoms with conviction because of that same technical analysis that saved our asses this whole way down. Which is, yo, Clutch, thank you for half a year yelling at us that, dude, don't get comfortable in your longs. Every time, literally arguing with homies. Some of them even take it personal. Some of them that somewhat take it personal, then they realize, wait, never mind, I should be careful. There's some traders that have lost some big bags on our exchange, but those same players would have lost 5, 7, 8x more. They still don't listen and keep forever longing. But the reality is you wait for TA like the one I did, no matter how long it frickin' takes to buy. And notice from this trend, notice to the lifetime alley that, that Bitcoin has gone in. Notice how we are now trading in this alley here, right? These are things to be expected. And again, you can sit here and try to get out of me like, well, Clutch, what's next, right? And I get it, dude. I want to frickin' tell you the exact move to what's next, but it usually, I've said this a couple times, takes me a couple days, couple weeks to really figure it out, but I nail this move to perfection. Let's look at the chart that really is puke central. I don't frickin' like it, but this is what we want. A wick like this, I bought because we wicked right to my prediction. You can't make this up, guys. You can't lie. You can't LARP your way and find out around me. There's some freaking crap influencers going around saying they predicted this. A bunch of them, actually. Bro, these fools were telling you to top blast Aster, to top blast Solana, to top blast Sui. And now they're telling you that they predicted just because they said the most vague ass freaking BS in the trading world. Oh, well, 2026 is going to bring this. Oh, 2027 is going to bring that. If throwing a rock at the ocean just so you could say you never missed, so you can live your life never throwing a rock anywhere else in the world other than when you're in the ocean so you can bat 1,000, bro, that's it right freaking there. I love that Ghost just came up here while I happened to hit this segment. Not because he said anything in particular. But Ghost, remember I told you Max Payne was going to happen? Between what months did I tell you and when we should be ready to start buying? Right? Like, I don't have, you don't have to say it. I'm just saying, like, it was perfect. Literally gave us the frickin' time it would happen. And here's the thing, I gave a range and I was wrong because I gave a 3-month range and it happened in the first month. Well, midway through somewhat, a week into it. Point is, don't fall for, yeah, but don't fall for people that say, well, dude, yeah, short here. You'll eventually be right because it's eventually going to go down. No, that's freaking LARPs. That's a bunch of BS freaking farmers trying to gain your attention so you can forget how catastrophic those characters are to your portfolio, but you start believing that you should have followed them because they gave you this exactly. This stupid Toyota and ramen chart that I drew for years in advance and been warning you every step of the way exactly where we're going. And if you didn't freaking listen by now, you wouldn't even listen if Epstein was in front of you telling you he did it all. You would still think it was a conspiracy. That's just the nature of humanity. It's just a bunch of just pride and nastiness inside where you just want to see the world through your very own eyes. I stopped looking at the world through my own eyes. And when it comes to this trading side of things, this is my struggle on my personal life to separate this from my personal. But from a trading perspective, I look at life from a chart like this that runs the freaking world, at least for crypto. Because you cannot buy one single Bitcoin without buying some of this stupid coin first. The Ponzi's foundation was laid out the gate. And to Andrew's topic, Epstein frickin' invested in Bitcoin, and Bitcoin has been regulated to the point where it has to be bought with the US dollar, pegged by Tether, who, what a surprise, was also started by another frickin' pedo that you guys know. I've met this dude in person. Again, I don't need to say names. You guys can go do all this research yourself. But these freaking dudes, this world of pedophiles, it's not that they choose to be pedos. It's when you choose to be a pedo by design to then catch all the sick bastards that are. Because then you can hold whatever you want over their head, like creating such a financial Ponzi like this one that someone like me, a Mexican pizza ninja, can perfect and take the frickin' profit when I need it without ever over leveraging myself. At this point, there's nothing much I can tell you. Because now I would just be like a LARP. Well, we went here, duh, so we're gonna go here next. I'm sometimes gonna be right, and I don't roll like that. For the next 2 days, Trade Talk has always been that way. For the next frickin' show, Monday TA to Wednesday, Wednesdays TA to Friday, Fridays to Mondays. So me telling you, well, we're gonna go here at some point is being no different. All I can tell you guys, enjoy the fact that you joined in on me knowing we were right. You had so little underlying assets that you felt panicked to go look at your portfolio to realize that your portfolio was only down like 4%. And that's just because you happen to keep a couple crap coins. If you're like me and realize, folks, dude, I've lost nothing. And now I'm about to run it up and make some money. Now you don't try to overtrade. Now you don't try to predict. Now you just watch. Let this freaking CME candle do what it has to do on this daily. Let it frickin' see what it's gonna do by, I'm sorry, on the daily to cover this gap. Let Solana give you more scam. What happens before crosses? Liquidity grabs. Let the frickin' panic buyers, they don't want to miss out, so they bought everything they had here. I bought a lot, but not everything. Everyone that bought everything here is sweating cheeks right now because they're still down. Everyone that bought most here, DCA'd here, oh fudge, dude, their average price is here. They're freaking tweaking right now with panic mode. If you're like me, your average price on Solana is about 72 freaking dollars. We are living life pretty. Do not overtrade. I am 100% Solana. Gonna freaking short the living heck out of this because I truly do feel the pain's not over. How do you stop this? How do you stop this? How do you stop this? What's in it for me to mass adopt innocent people into Solana when all Solana does, including its founders and most big influencers, guys like Mert? I'll say that name because it's a huge Solana name. $1,200 Zcash, $10,000 Zcash. Yo, can somebody pull up that tweet? Stricken people are full of heartlessness for your portfolio. That's how I look at life. All this Epstein stuff, all that crap, great topic, Andrew. But at the end of the day, you can predict Epstein stuff with simply the swings of the market and like how manipulated it is. This freaking chart is grotesque. I'm scared. If I were you guys, we probably were warned about the golden run. We just didn't know the golden run was for this chart and not Bitcoin. That's trade talk, everybody. I don't got nothing else for you other than, dude, I hope you freaking have been enjoying the boringness, the methodicalness, the repetition, the discipline. You probably been playing soccer too because you heard, man, Clutch goes play soccer almost every day now. These are bear market times. He ain't focused here buying, aping stupid meme coins. I got friends DMing me contracts. Like 10 of them. Gross. Shilling me influencer coins too. I'm so disgusted with this space right now. But I feel great because every cycle we flush out that trash and better comes around. And hey, Andrew, one of the things I've noticed here, our group is slowly getting bigger with every bear market. I stopped looking at the crew and who's around when it's up only. But it's, hey, lock in your profits. Let's go build. Let's go frickin' do what we got to do. Instead, they disappear and keep aping. And they frickin' got wrecked. I wish them well. But for those that aren't, enjoy the Toyota and ramen. Hopefully, it don't last that long. Yeah, there's not much to say after that. I get it. It's that market. Peace out, everybody.